on you wearing a bit of nose jewelry, a booger collecting ring at that, would dictate what kind of person you are. I guess because I've got blonde hair, I must be dumb as bricks. Get it? Because the saying is dumb as rocks, and I'm like, blonde, I'm so dumb, I'm so stupid. A large portion of men seem to think that because a woman customizes her avatar, she must be a BPD-ridden, whingy lib whose most extreme opinion is that everybody should be able to afford housing. Well, this term came about in recent months as men have concluded that women who choose to express themselves in rather unconventional ways must have something wrong with them. They must be mentally ill, evil, satanic, devilish. They have daddy issues and they're just gonna blow up your entire life. And not for the fact that they cannot seem to grasp that maybe a woman might want to go against societal norms set in place for her and doesn't quite care about appearing as hot to you. Who would have thunk women, girls, femmes alike don't want to conform to beauty standards set in place by mostly men? In which, even if we did tick all of the boxes for the beauty standard, it's still never enough. Septum ring theory refers to women who, that's right, have their septums pierced, but it goes a little bit deeper as men seem to believe that women who have their septums pierced tend to be raging feminist lefties who make trauma their entire personality. I was today years old when I found out that there are genuinely people out there, not just men, there are people out there who truly believe that once a bit of metal enters inside of your nose, it causes this chemical reaction to act a certain way. And it's quite hee hoo hoo ha ha, as the people who spout this judgmental rhetoric usually hate stereotypes themselves. It's not all men. It's mind-numbing, you see, because when it comes to alternative people, they probably share ideas in which you don't like because you're not a part of the club, Buzzstar. But because these men don't like the way that we live, I'm not somebody who has their septum pierced as I don't really want one. I've already got 2 nose rings and I kind of want to work on my setup as is, as it's looking quite basic. Because these men don't like the way that we live, they boil it down to the septum piercing. Well, it's gotta be the septum ring that is making them act that way. Ugh.
Women with septum piercings are the most evil women known to man. I was today years old when I found out about the septum piercing theory. Now, I don't know everything about this said theory, but I did hear about it a little bit. Apparently, any woman that has a septum piercing is susceptible to mind control like crazy, which results her into doing very, very, very evil things. Now, do I believe this? Hell yeah, I believe this. Every woman that I've messed with that had a septum piercings were low-key spawns of the devil, but we're not gonna get into that.
So far, this is going exactly how I thought it would. Lil bro here hooked up with a few women who share something in common, having their septum pierced. But because he most likely went for these kinds of women as, like a lot of men, fetishized them, he created this idea in his head that these women were going to live up to every single one of his fantasies. And when they didn't, he boiled it down to, well, they all got septum piercings, so there must be something wrong with them. Whenever I hear men like this speak about alternative women, it's very clear to me. They think, well, she must have daddy issues because look at the way she chooses to present herself. Why would anyone want to look like that? Why would women not want to look hot for me? What the? But again, because these women didn't meet his expectations, as we're not a porn category, we are people, he is generalizing these women to make himself feel better about the negative situations. And the truth is, he thought that alternative women would be okay being treated as nothing more than a P-hub category, and he's upset that they didn't like that, and they probably didn't like him.
The thing about women with septum piercings, they're either always 100% chopped or they're the most beautiful creatures on earth. There is no in between. All right, you're gonna have to choose, but you're gonna have to choose one or the other. I'm not gonna lie, if she got a septum piercing, you're gonna be crying yourself to bed. Like, it'll get to the point where you're sleeping throughout the day just so you can wait until you get like a text back or something. Bro, I haven't done that in years. I probably won't. That's why I don't mess with women with septum piercings anymore. I care about my mental health. And I get what you can say. Bro, 9. Like, if you really care about your mental health, surely a woman with a septum piercing won't be the one that messes you up. Surely that won't be the one that pushes you towards the edge. I'm strong, right? But I ain't that strong.
I'm really glad that he admitted to us that he isn't that strong to put up with a woman who has a nose ring. When you judge people on their appearance this emotionally charged because you don't like your exes and you're afraid that you meet any other woman who has a septum piercing and they remind you of your exes and, oh, you don't like that because they didn't text you back throughout the day. It's giving, all girls are the same. I do find it extremely off-putting in the way in which he is speaking about women who have their nose pierced because it's almost treating them like an exotic creature to stay away from. They might bite, they might hurt you, blah, 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 blah. But men like this never seem to fess up about what they did in that relationship to cause this, you know, negative memory or what have you. It's totally fair to dislike people from your past, but it seems to me that he just doesn't like his exes. All of his exes had septum rings. He probably treated them in a pretty terrible way and is surprised that they didn't like his treatment of them. It's exactly what this is ringing as. And try to tell me otherwise, genuinely, because I have never had such a strong reaction towards what someone has in their face. It doesn't bother me, it doesn't concern me. And there are some piercings that I don't like, but I've never spoken about that because I don't care! What's hilarious about this discourse is that women who have septum piercings are often referred to as evil or devil-like. Just like this one dude said. But you could quite literally apply that to anybody with physical attributes that you find offensive or that you don't approve of. I hate polo shirts. Oh my God. Not even, like, I'm planning to stay with my boyfriend for the rest of my life, okay? Even when he gets to like 50 or 60, if he's ever to rock up with a polo shirt, divorce, like, we're never seeing each other again. I'm just kidding. He can wear a polo shirt if he wants, but notice how, like, my strong hatred for polo shirts is not going to change the way that I see people just because I don't like it. And it's not even a physical attribute either. Neither is a septum piercing. It is just something that people choose to wear, people choose to have in their face. It is completely okay. You will fucking live. I promise you that. It's the language that's used to villainize a girl from their past, a girl that he feels he was hard done by, and now just cannot see women the same, especially women who have their septums pierced. Oh, it's ridiculous, as a few bad apples doesn't mean that the bunch are rotten. I mean, go to therapy, mate. It sounds like you need somebody to talk to about your fear of septum rings.
Explain to me the nose ring thing that girls do, the one that goes like right here or sometimes has those little like things on the end of it. I've never seen a woman where that's made them more attractive, and if that's not the goal, that's okay. But what is the signal that that thing is supposed to send? Does that mean you're a lesbian? Does it mean you're trans? Does it mean you just like having something in your nose?
I know that for you, mate, you're dressing normal and you got the number 3 special from your barber and you get it every single month and you probably will until you see the dirt. And you do that to signal to other people that you're a well-kept guy, that you're a good guy because, you know, you look decent. But not everybody makes appearance changes to signal that they're in this special club or they're this kind of person, or they have a different sexuality. Like, it's really telling how men like this truly in their heart of hearts believe that you either have to be lesbian, gay, or transgender, or maybe the full combo to opt in to make yourself look different from the normal beauty standards. This guy seems to not understand what alternative means, which is fine, but then you probably shouldn't speak on it. The only reason reason that this guy thinks you either have to be lesbian, gay, or transgender to want to have something ugly on your face, in your nose, is because he has this idealistic picture of what a woman should look like in his head, and he can't seem to grasp why anybody would want to look different from that. Heads up, mate, not everyone cares about being pretty. By his own logic, me, somebody who is straight, must be lesbian because I've got rings in my nose. Logical fallacy. I know this may come as a surprise to many men, but women aren't doing things for your approval. We're not trying to give you a mating call. We don't actually care what the fuck you think. Like, if this guy was to watch this video, or if he was to pass me on the street and he was to be like, oh, you look lesbian, you look ugly, and that's the worst you can say, Budstar? And yes, I have met many men who find me greatly unattractive, but I don't care because I'm not out here looking for their approval. Even when I have been single, I don't care. And that makes men like this uncomfortable because they do see women as a prop. They're like, wait, she wants to not look hot for me? That's strange.
It's just one of those ones where it's unclear like what the statement is, and I've never understood it.
You've never understood it because it's not something for you to understand. It's not for you. Just speaking for myself here, me getting piercings isn't this kind of statement that I'm trying to make to people where it's like, fuck you, haha, like, I'm raging against the system, yeah. It's as simple as I just like piercings. And that is the same for most people who have piercings. You don't understand it because you don't like it. You find it unattractive, which is fine. But to be a grown man and to get up on TikTok and complain what women are doing with their bodies, let alone their appearances, is so cringe, dude. You can find this guy in the Guinness World Record book under the cringest fellow alive. Like, you guys seem to think that alternative women make it within their mission to purposefully upset y'all. These guys think way too much of themselves. Their egos are through the roof because no one cares about y'all. We're not thinking about y'all. We don't care about your opinions. Not everybody wants to be the same cookie cutter like you, mate.
I would never date a girl who's got that thing in there, and yeah, it's fine if those girls don't want to date me. I'm just curious what the goal is. What's with the nose ring that goes right here? What does that mean?
It's really presumptuous to assume that any woman, alternative or not, would want to date you. Like, any woman who would want to actively date somebody who judges other people's appearance, let alone women's appearances, are just as scumbaggy. Like, I hate to tell you, bro, but women don't want to be with men who want them to conform to beauty standards that are not only outdated, but don't matter. I would never want to date a man who felt so fucking comfortable telling me how I should dress, how I should look, how I should have my hair, how I should have my makeup, how, you know, how many piercings I get or don't get. Yeah. I don't understand why men are so butt-tapped about septums. Oh shit, wait. It's because they're using their freedom of choice and they don't like that. It's just another case of men stigmatizing alternative women because outside of the sexual fantasy aspect, they couldn't possibly understand why a woman would opt in to look ugly or different or a little weird. Why would a woman want to look unattractive to me? Tell me you've seen the recent South Park season without saying it. I think a big part as to why men don't like women having their septums pierced is because it's a clear as day sign of her not conforming, and they see that as a threat to their egos. Once again, they don't see women as people. They see them as objects. They see them as sex dolls and sex toys. They can't fathom or grasp why a woman would purposefully want to uglify herself. They don't want to deal with a woman who is unapologetically herself, who crushes their idea of a quote-unquote good woman. As a woman who is choosing to get themselves pierced is using her freedom of choice, and it's an unconventional form of freedom of choice. But you have to remember, these same men who think that the septum theory is proven true are the same ones who are anti-pro-choice. They don't like the fact that a woman has choice on what she wants to do with her body. body. They're also anti-woman doing anything that goes against the norm. It is quite literally all about conforming. Forget about septum theory, where all women who have these septum piercings act the same. And let's do a septum ring test. If he's vehemently against you getting a septum and would look down upon you as if he's Christ or some shit, red flag. Red flag. Truth is, he doesn't want you to realize that you have autonomy over your body. And that's not to say that you are not allowed to have preferences. I would prefer that my boyfriend didn't wear polo shirts. I hate them. They are so ugly. However, if he was to pop out wearing a polo shirt, I wouldn't demonize him. I wouldn't judge him for it. He's choosing what he wants to wear. And if he likes that, I'm so happy for him. See the difference? See the difference there? So what have we learned today so far, class? Septum ring theory is when woman gets nose piercing and gets possessed by Satan himself. Get it, guys? The dumb, stupid head, poo bum fart theory. Red flags can't be that bad. People with septum piercings. Ugh. Ugh. Ironically enough, this guy's nose would be quite literally perfect for a septum. I mean, King, you've already got your ears pierced. What the f is the difference that it's in your nose? And you know what they say about men who have their ears pierced, right? I just don't get it. Obviously, that stereotype isn't true. Having any piercings doesn't mean that you like something in any of your holes. But are we noticing? Are we noticing? Something in common with these men so far is that they're the most normal presenting dudes ever and are probably dealing with confusion whenever they are to cross a woman with their septums pierced. They're like, wait, I don't know if I want her. Oh, I shouldn't want her. Or do I want to be her? When my future son asks how I knew his girlfriend with a septum piercing and daddy issues would sabotage their relationship, oh my god. Or was it the fact that you weren't good enough to help her deal with her issues? Y'all want the looks of a girl who's a lot, but when she presents to be a lot, suddenly it's too much for you guys. Like, it really reminds me of that 1-2 Paw song, right? Stazzy likes crazy girls and he hates when I act crazy. Like, they want the crazy girl, but they don't want the crazy girl. They want the manic pixie dream girl, but they don't actually want her when she's manic. Like, it is such a farce. And it's not to say that women are void of accountability when it comes to their mental health, but it's very telling to me when men want to get with alternative women and then are surprised that there's something there. What these men are doing is essentially boiling a whole human being down to a nose ring and daddy issues. Huge fucking ick. And once again, it's a non-alternative saying shit about alternatives. So shush. Something that has come as a consequence due to males who are very looks driven is when they are expressing their poo from the bum opinions about alternative women, such as, if you have a septum ring, you must be this way. Like, there's no possible way that you aren't this because I've already just preconceived that. There are some women that I have come across who have taken their septum rings out due to these opinions. And, you know, it really begs the question, were you really about it in the first place? Nobody, not even my parents. I don't care. Nobody, not my boyfriend. Again, when I say nobody, I mean nobody, unless I choose to, could ever say, we don't like that on your face, take it out. I don't care. I didn't do it for you. So it's literally on my body. It's good that it's not on yours. That's why it's on mine, because I like it. And it's why it's not on your body, because you don't like it. Like, it's just, these conversations drive me insane. Not so much in like a, it's more so, this is so fucking stupid, guys.
If you let that septum ring theory make you really take out your septum ring, then you are some weak ass shit. Don't get no more piercings. What you gonna do when they come up with earring theory? You gonna take out all your earrings? Just don't get no more piercings, bitch. Just weak ass shit.
It is week. That's exactly right. And I know people will be like, well, you know, I just can't handle the opinions of others, drama queen. You don't understand it. It makes me feel some type of way. I do understand, because I used to be somebody who would people please all the time and try to make myself look as digestible as possible. You guys know this. There was a point in my life where I looked for approval from other people, but it was the most depressed that I have ever been. It was when I was so much younger, and you know, unfortunately, I understand that when you're a teenager, you're more susceptible to wanting to conform and make other people happy so that you're not feeling left out or judged or like you don't belong. My problem is that these are grown women who know fucking better. Don't take your septum rings out because some dude is describing, you know, the craziest woman alive. Take it out because you don't like it anymore. Take it out because you don't want it in anymore. It's fucking embarrassing, because being alternative is inherently anti-conformist. The septum ring theory isn't even true. If you're that scared about appearing a certain way, then just don't be that. Like, it's just as simple as that. If a man already has these preconceived notions about how women act when they are to be pierced, why the fuck does that concern you in the slightest? They're men that you probably want to stay away from in the very first place. I have had so many terrible experiences with people in my life. It has nothing to do with their appearance. It has everything to do with who the fuck they are. You are a poser if you allow yourself to be controlled by the feeble. I think that very weak men judge women based on a fucking nose piercing. It's a little bit of booger jewelry, mate. You'll live.
Well, it's a hideous piercing and can turn a 10 into a 5. Not to mention 99% of women with that ring have some sort of mental issue or several.
A common theme with men who say these kinds of things about women who have nose piercings is that they're racist, misogynistic, homophobic, like all of the bad. I'm really not surprised that a bigot wouldn't like the fact that a woman has choice over her own body and wants to look a certain type of way. She's over the age of 18, dude. She can do whatever the fuck she wants with her body. These kinds of men easily fall for the septum ring theory because most of the time, alternative people share the same ideology. Just like the same people who believe the septum ring theory also share the same ideology. So it's just like, you don't like it because you don't like it, whatever. But to create an entire theory around it, you're not Freudian, bruh. You're nothing. No one cares. In conclusion, these men only like women who conform. They meet the beauty standards. They nod their heads and listen to every damn stupid poo bum thing that comes out of his fucking mouth. Like, I genuinely never thought that I'd be sat here today discussing a nose ring theory that says that women are evil and devilish and satanic because they have a bit of jewelry in their nose. If it's a necklace, it's elegant. If it's a piercing, it's trashy. You're really telling on yourselves here, guys. So with all of that being said, everybody, if I have any pierced people in the audience, why did you choose to get pierced? It's embarrassing at this point. Like, just say you're like little girls, because that's kind of what it's sounding like. Thank you so much for your stay at Yappersville today, everybody. I cannot wait to see you again soon. Take care of yourselves, and most of all, love your fucking selves.